Hey, what's up, guys? Bear from the internet today at Refuge. We have an upcoming wilderness responder class, and I was actually talking to a couple of Refuge alumni earlier today, and they were asking questions about the class, and it occurred to me that most people don't adequately understand what we're teaching, and that's my fault. So I wanted to explain what we're teaching. And also, I think the why. What's the why behind this class? The practical applicability. So, the first thing to understand, civilian wilderness medicine is applicable in your everyday life because wilderness is a cool term that's used by the industry to sell seats. But it is by definition any pre-hospital care that takes place 1 hour or more away from a higher level of care, away from the hospital, the clinic, the surgeon, whatever it might be. Many of us, if not most of us, are oftentimes, if not regularly, an hour or more away from a hospital. So any medical interventions that we make in those locations are de facto wilderness, air quote, wilderness medicine. All right, so that's the first thing. The applicability is not just I'm going jeeping in Moab or I'm hiking the Appalachian Trail or the family's going to visit the Grand Canyon. It's not just that. It's if I'm an hour or more away from the hospital, and I've worked on job sites that were hours away from a town, let alone from a hospital. So that's the first thing. The next thing is TCCC, TCCC, Tactical Combat Casualty Care, assumes the golden hour, assumes that we've got 60 minutes or less from the point of injury to a higher level of care. Now, in warfare, this is generally accomplished by establishing and maintaining air superiority. We can fly and no one else can, which means our CASEVAC and MEDEVAC vehicles, aerial platforms can get in, get the good guys that have been shot, stabbed, blown up, and get them back out again. In the civilian world, this is called 911. And we assume that an ambulance or somebody who knows more than us is going to show up and knows more than us, asterisk, because everybody has a first day. And in this county, emergency medical professionals start at $14.50 an hour. So, okay. So, TCCC assumes the golden hour. We're not necessarily going to get the golden hour. So when we don't have the golden hour, TCCC, after the care under fire phase and tactical field care phase, defers to what's called prolonged field care. And prolonged field care means we're going to be in it for a while. It's going to be a hot minute before we can get the casualty to a higher level of care. On a wilderness side, from a civilian standpoint, it's the same or very similar protocols, although prolonged field care on the DoD side generally assumes that the practitioner is going to be at the paramedic level or up, whereas wilderness medicine, we may be starting with people that don't know the difference between a Band-Aid and an ace bandage, okay? So you have invasive interventions at the paramedic level, DoD side, basically making holes in people. Intravenous, intraoscular, thoracostomies, airway management protocols, etc., that you're not going to do at the civilian side, but the principles remain the same. So, because we don't necessarily have a 1 hour window, and that 1 hour window could be hours or days, wilderness medicine from a civilian standpoint can not replace prolonged field care protocols, but serve in the place of, in many cases, prolonged field care principles for the prepared civilian. If we solve for telemedicine, which is kind of a cornerstone of prolonged field care, the ability to talk to hire, to get doc on the tablet, on a Zoom call, via radio, whatever it is, and say, hey, this is what I'm looking at. Guy's got problems, talk me through it. And doc might say, awesome, you're about to do an appendectomy in the field. Okay, I've never done one of those. How do I do one of those? Talk me through it, doc. We just had Evan from Radio Made Easy here at class, and there's elements to that as well from a communication standpoint, as far as being able to provide telemedicine communications to ask questions, receive answers, receive instruction. So the applicability of wilderness medicine from a preparedness standpoint and from everyday life is actually very high. TCCC, if we have a golden hour, tactical combat casualty care on the civilian side, tactical emergency casualty care if we have a golden hour, if there's somebody to elevate to within 60 minutes or 90 minutes or a couple of hours, if that's what we can get, that's what we can get. If there's not, if we're going longer than an hour or a couple of hours, we're de facto in a prolonged field care state. Wilderness medicine teaches way more than the March algorithm in the woods. It's not, I want to put my cool guy stuff on, carry a rucksack, and learn massive bleeding, airway, respiratory, circulation, head injury, hypothermia, expose, evaluate, evacuate, elevate, in the woods wearing camouflage. There's elements of that, but it's not that. It's actually significantly deeper medicine, patient assessments, differential assessments, transportation of the patient, field expedient treatments, wild medicines. There's a whole lot that's actually going on. I mean, this is the curriculum. This is the curriculum for Wilderness Responder, and this is a 36-hour ECSI, Emergency Care and Safety Institute accredited class. It's not March. It touches on March. There is some application of windlass tourniquets, but I mean, there's also 2.5-hour block of instruction on the wonders of the cravat, the triangle bandage, and all the things that you can do with it. And what's super cool about this class, because it's an accredited class, if you complete this class and pass the final exam, there is a final exam. I have a wonderful letter here from the gentleman who put this curriculum together, Richard Ingebrigtsen, MD, PhD, University of Utah School of Medicine. If you complete this class and then take the remainder of AWLS, Advanced Wilderness Life Support, you can get an associate's degree in wilderness medicine. That's how accredited this class is. So, like I said, it's not just March. Here's the book, and it's 400 plus pages long. So it's significantly more medicine, is my point here. Now, the way that we're choosing to teach this, why is this refuge style? Why would the Bear Nation care? Is because we're combining this 36-hour ECSI curriculum, accredited curriculum, with 3 days, 2 nights in the field. One could take this curriculum via Zoom call, pass the final exam, and be ECSI accredited for wilderness medicine. But that's not very practical. It's not very applicable because wilderness medicine happens out there, generally speaking. So we're teaching it in the field, and we're teaching it in the field over 3 days and 2 nights. And there's actually a lot of preparedness, TLOs, terminal learning objectives, alongside of this curriculum that we'll be teaching while we're out there. Simple things like moving with a team, shaking down all of your gear. There, if you go to refugemedical.com, go to the training tab, and then hit the Wilderness Responder class, you'll see on that class, on that listing, is the packing list. The packing list is public. So carrying all that stuff with you, how you're going to convey that stuff, and does it need to weigh 70 pounds or can it weigh 40 pounds, and what does that look like, okay? All of that. That in of itself is its own terminal learning objective. The PT, physical training, and the acclimatization that should be happening right now for the student is its own TLO. Sorry, Mike is laughing really loud in Italian noises across the office. Okay, so we're teaching it in the field, 3 days, 2 nights. Your rucksack and camping out of your rucksack. What's your sleep system going to look like? How are you going to solve for bugs and snakes and ticks? Okay, water, not just carrying water, but getting more water and treating that water or filtering that water. Fire making, not just for combating hypothermia, but also for signaling. Shelter, building shelter or carrying shelter on your back, or both, maybe a hybrid system there. Radio, some radio communication, intra-squad communications. How do we talk to each other? And how do I get a message out from here that I have an injury? And by the way, where is here? Where exactly am I on the map? So map and compass. I also have it on good authority that there's going to be some efforts made to seed the training area with Easter eggs, if you will. Wonderful things that would provide increased comfort during the experience if one was capable of reading a map and navigating to the locations on the map. Yeah, and yeah, it's going to be a good time. Signaling. How do I signal for help? What does that look like? How do I signal aircraft? How do I land aircraft here where I am? What does that look like? Food. What are you going to eat? Can you fast for 3 days? Yes, it's possible. Can you fast for 3 days in August while doing a high amount of physical output? I don't recommend it. Security. There is wild flora and fauna here. And so I've literally asked the property owner, is there a Yeti here? Are there Sasquatch? And he said, I haven't seen any here. So, but there are hogs, there are bears, there are mountain lions, there are snakes. And so we'll be pulling watches. Both the instructors and the students overnight will be pulling watches from a security standpoint. And then all this builds into experiential learning, because that's a huge part of how people retain information. They experience it. Like I said, you could watch a Zoom call or a death by PowerPoint and pass the final test, and yeah, now I know wilderness medicine. But do you know it, or have you done it? Okay. So as part of the cost of class, like all refuge classes, they include the training materials. And so this is the Wilderness Responder Trainer Kit. We're using a 511 pack for this because I don't yet produce a bag of this size for this application. This weighs 9.5 pounds, as shown. This is a very comprehensive first aid kit. And we're going to teach you, per this curriculum, and per this instruction manual, how to use everything in this, in situ, in the wilderness. So included with the cost of class is a $500 trainer kit, and it's got all the stuff in it. It has all the stuff in it. Everything from taking basic vitals and filling out a SOAP note to patient transportation, C-spine stabilization, interventions for critical bleeding, wounds, lacerations, airway management, respiratory distress, circulation, head injury, hypothermia, heat stress, environmental illness, different types of shock, cardiogenic shock, anaphylactic shock, CPR, et cetera, which is applicable to people on Earth. Just like March applies if you're pumping blood and breathing air, so does this. This also applies. And most wilderness classes have one instructor, maybe an assistant instructor, and up to 20 students. This class is capped at 20 students. It will not exceed 20 students. And there are 6 instructors from various different backgrounds: law enforcement, emergency services, DoD personnel, several of, paramedics, several of, et cetera, And so there are 6 instructors, not 1, not 2, 6, with a max of 20 students. So the student to instructor ratio is very high. Where we are training, we have access to thousands upon thousands upon thousands of acres, which gives you the opportunity to pressure test your systems that you're going to bring with you while learning from the system, the trainer kit that I am providing to you, and also pressure test yourself, because it will be hot. It will be a little miserable. but you fight with what you brought, and you are in charge of what you brought. Yes, the stuff that's in your rucksack, but also your physicality and your mindset. That's all on you. And so that's part of doing this for real in the wilderness. It's more expensive. It's more logistically challenging. It's just harder to do it in the wilderness. But I would much rather that the training is harder than the real world than you get demoralized when you have to do this for real because your training was a Zoom call or 20 dudes sitting around a guy telling stories at a fire calling it wilderness medicine. This is not that. So that's what we're doing for the Wilderness Responder class, ECSI 36-hour comprehensive wilderness accredited class. If you're interested or you have more questions, you can go to refugemedical.com, click the training tab. There's a listing there. Pricing is there. If you need to break the cost of class into payments, you can use that doing a firm on the class, or you can just call the store or email us. And if you have any questions relevant to this or anything else, kits, classes, equipment, trainings, whatever it might be, any questions you have, you can contact us through the website at refugemedical.com. You can use the chat function there on the website that goes to real people, no AI robots, real people answer your questions. Shoot us an email, call the store, just reach out. Wilderness medicine is pre-hospital care that takes place more than 1 hour from a hospital, and it's way more than March in the Woods. And the way we're teaching it creates real-world experiential learning, pressure tests your systems, pressure tests you, and also has a significant number of preparedness terminal learning objectives as well. So very comprehensive experiential class. Maybe I'll see you there. Y'all have a blessed day. Shalom, everyone.